will be with Dr. Ula Merie. Her presentation will be about building partnership with stakeholders for humanitarian heritage. Dr. Ula Merie is a lecturer in architectural history in University of Babylon, Faculty of Engineering Architectural Department. She has recently been awarded a PhD in Space, Cultures and Politics Studies from Sheffield School of Architecture at University of Sheffield. She holds an master's degree in urban design and housing planning from University of Baghdad 2011. Her research interest in exploring history and the theory of architecture and design in post-war cities, memory and conflicted identity, disappearing cultural heritage and identities, politics and policies, and hierarchy of power. Please, our attendants, as you know, put your questions in chat box, and later in the end of this session, we will discuss it. Dr. Ula, as you will have 20 minutes for your presentation. Please, Dr. Ula, if you are available now.
Yes, I am. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, mic is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I am Ula Merie from University of Babylon. I'm here today to talk about my role as part of Engage Iraq Hub that I would like to summarize through my presentation, building partnership with the stakeholders from humanities heritage. Before I'm starting, I would like to express my appreciation to Dr. Mohammed Jamal, our network director, and Dr. Sabih, our direct coordinator, for being such an amazing, for their amazing management and support during the whole project. Truly, I learned a lot from you. And I'm here today to share some of my research results as part of Engage Iraq Hub that I would like to summarize through my presentations. Long known as the cradle of civilization, Iraq is the home of more than 10,000 cultural heritage sites, ranging from 5,000-year-old cities for Sumer, where evidence of earliest writings in the world are preserved, to archaeological remains of the Akkadian, Babylon, Assyrian, and Parthian cultures. Baghdad, one of the Arab world's earliest and greatest capitals, and the rest of Iraq enjoyed a golden range of architectural and political achievement in the Middle Ages. More recent monuments, such as Ottoman palaces and public buildings, as well as the work of modern international architects, have great value and significance in Iraq history. Yet, as a result, to many years of conflict and unsettled political environment, Iraq witnessed multiple crises, tensions, successive episodes of ethnic sectarian violence between and uncertain political and social, in special marginalization, that transformed many Iraqi cities and threatening their distinctive heritage and culture. Such an archaeological site, both those which have been exhaustive and those which are unexplored, have suffered as a result of the whispered looting since the beginning of the current conflict in the country. Historic buildings in Baghdad and other urban areas have been damaged not only as a consequence of military activities and terrorism, but also from vandalism and looting. As a theoretical disposition to redefine human and cultural heritage as a common endeavor of a humanity that is indiscriminated about the human race, a cultural authenticity of region. This is the way that we are narrating the humanitarian heritage in Engaged Network. It's our goal to evaluate these distinctive cultural heritage and try to liberate this culture and assist it for being objectified and symbolic, commoditated of certain group of people. So to understand Iraq, the Heritage Border of Engagement Network, ENGAGE, seeks to develop transformative, equitable partnership, not only locally, but also globally, between Middle East and South Asia to shed light on the humanitarian heritage, working with local borders communities, whose cultural heritage and traditions have been affected by conflict across geographical and cultural borders. These networks aim to promote peace building, cultural exchange, and social economic development, working to collaborativity with research partners and communities. Engaged network partners will foster alliances and partnership between communities, heritage, stakeholders, and social groups across conflict borders. It aims to consolidate heritage as a humanitarian value system, to mobilize discussion regarding its common element as meaning, places, trading points, sites of shared environment as a catalyst for much needed economic and social development and social justice. The Engaged Network operates primarily in the Middle East and North Africa and Southern Asia through 3 regional research hubs in Delhi, India, Baghdad for Iraq, and Tunisia for Tunis. This presentation is part of the Iraq Regional Hub project that summarizes the main activities that the relevant information and feedback that identify the current challenge, policy, and legislative law flows in national and international policy on community heritage protection and preservation. This has been done through 2 main steps. Firstly, planning and organizing the participatory workshop in the last August that covered 3 main groups, researchers, NGOs, and policymakers. This workshop had a critical mission that engaged by developing scoping research investigation on the need of a humanitarian heritage as an exclusive program of cultural heritage, in addition to creating a collaborative research environment that facilitated shared and sustained engagement with local heritage communities and their representatives, in addition to NGOs within the research hub, regional research hub, sorry. The 3 main sessions addresses 3 different discussions in the field of a humanitarian heritage, the research session, the skillholder sessions, and the policymaker sessions, which each one of them had 8 main speakers. So to more detail about the previous our workshop, you can see our website to know more about our presenters. The second phase was preparing and undertaking interview with 19 experts in the field covering research, heritage, professional, and NGOs, and community representation. These multidisciplinary interviews, including a specialty from politics, social science, human rights, heritage, tourism, and archaeology, in addition, of course, to architecture and museum experts and educations. These interviews, in addition to discuss and argue the outcome from the participatory workshop that was organized and designed to explore the different research methodology approaches, it also challenged the models of partnerships hub. It have provided the project for mutual discussion, co-production, engagement, and learning between local research team, community groups, project partners, and national organization, in addition to government and official representatives from the government and their policy. These methods allow the research to structure and develop new accounts that help to answer the research question, in addition to developing a theoretical and conceptual framework of a humanitarian heritage through production and co-creation with local communities, stakeholders, and partnership, particularly in Iraq. The central research question was to what extent do the stakeholders understand and reflect on the community cultural tangible and intangible value. Thus, the interview were designed to respond to a number of sub-questions that could be adjusted or shifted, altered according to the interviewee's experience and their interest. So one of that might be included, what was the role of the state institutions in the process of developing long-term sustainable and exclusive peace through protecting and researching the heritage side, practices and communities. One could also expand to explore the NGO sectors and how it was effective or involved in promoting the value of a humanitarian heritage. The research adopted a qualitative methods that provided the research with an informative range of knowledge and contradictory data. It allowed interpreting certain aspects from available sources in a flexible way. The main methods are organizing through the workshops, which has three main sessions associated with semi-structural interviews as a way to develop and explore new level of interpretation and analysis of the main challenges that are facing the humanitarian heritage in Iraq, particularly from different perspectives. These sessions have established theoretical, empirical, and practical frameworks for the study, analysis of policy, advocacy of a humanitarian heritage, and a human-centric approach to cross-community. It developed and linked knowledge transfer between the engaged network, international partners, and investigators, and enabled collaborative workshop with the stakeholders and research partners and community representatives. These workshops explore research methodology, approaches, and challenges to the model of partnership hub. The workshop designed to operate a number of engagement, meeting, and focus group interview to map local and regional perspectives in the co-design and co-production of heritage research priorities, challenging and creative solution as part of engaged network research agenda, methodology, and delivery plan. So reviewing and discussing and interpreting the interview was designed to promote discussion around the main four urgent contemporary themes that we have been discussing and arguing mainly, which is infrastructure of heritage partnership, collaborative heritage, hospitality and tourism, creative art, craft, cultural and co-production, and the narrative of displacement, governance and impact. It brings together different arguments and opinion to create a comprehensive version toward the current challenge that are facing the cultural heritage in Iraq and its association to the local and the international interventions, power and politics, opening the way toward more research in the role of communities, policymakers and the NGOs in cultural heritage protection, generally for Iraq and specifically for each community, so specific needs and development challenging the plan. Starting with the main theme, bringing together different argument opinion. During the ordinary sessions of Iraq Hub workshop, the Iraqi Minister of Culture, Tourism and Antiquities, Dr. Nadim, has highlighting the challenges that are facing and affecting the infrastructure development of the heritage sector in Iraq, emphasizing the significant damage that impacts many heritage and historical centers in Iraq due to the unstable political environment that brought by years of war, sectarianism, and terror. Dr. Nadim argued how these conflict situations have determined the cultural heritage development and weakened the informers of law, in addition to decline the people's engagement in the sector of heritage protection. These notions have also been widely discussed by the majority of the interviewers who emphasize the role of the local and the international partnership, not only to develop the infrastructure heritage knowledge, but also to develop a new way of collaboration that would raise public awareness and engage with local communities more. Thus, building an infrastructure of heritage partnership program, as reviewed by the interviewers that conducted with the Iraqi heritage professional, need to be integrated with the government development policy. Importantly, most of the interviewees stated that many of the international experts and professionals who are engaging in the process of cultural and heritage development are involving in the level of developing immediate restoration of infrastructure without having a complete vision towards understanding what are really needed to form a development plan on the heritage with the local communities' need. In terms of the collaborative heritage, hospitality and tourism, this has been discussed widely by different NGO sectors who are interested in raising public awareness. In this perspective, Asma Al-Shalji, the director of Al-Qiya volunteer team to preserve heritage, argues that many of the local Baghdadi community are unfamiliar with their city's heritage and its significant traditional and cultural locations. Thus, as a way to overcome this lack of knowledge, Al-Shalji stated that utilizing social media application was the perfect tool to advertise the team's program, in addition to sharing news, viewpoints, and pictures that documented many of these visits. From other perspective, Jafar Judari emphasizes the role of increasing the international exhibitions missions in promoting public awareness and the significant role that they played in enhancing the tourism sector and the community experience. Yet, most of the interviews has emphasized the lack of cultural awareness between the public toward how to get benefit from the cultural heritage and the misunderstanding of the potential role that it may hold in redeveloping the community economy, discussing the need towards more programs to regain the people trust and make them aware of the important role that the heritage may play in their community development. Moving to the creative crafts and cultural co-productive, the impact of wars and conflict environment during the previous period, especially the destruction that happened for the most of the heritage building in the old center of many Iraqi cities, in addition to the major neglected of many cultural and historical heritage elements in development plan, whether by destroying these elements and removing them or by just hesitating on or unaware restoration of these elements and building, could consider as the main factor that affected directly the cultural heritage and the traditional craft. Where Ismail, Dr. Imad Han Ismail, which is here with us today, emphasized that many of the local traditional craft and professionals, handyman, have unfortunately disappeared or neglected due to these conflict environments. Generally, the interview emphasized the important role of these notions toward developing and rebuilding the communities in post-war cities, emphasizing the need to recatch the people with their heritage and cultural centers through mobilizing the intangible heritage, such as retelling the local stories, reviving the traditional rituals and narrative. In Iraq, which is known for its diverse cultural, presents one of the richest communities that each one of them has its own characters and identity. Thus, creative art, craft, and cultural co-production are essentials, tools that should be mobilized to develop a long way of sustainable development. It is a live documentation and a sustainable source of local economic development. Moving to the last one, narrative of displacement in post-conflict area. According to Dr. Mohammed Mehdi Hussein, since the 80s and as a result to a conflict and war that faces Iraq generally, many programs have been declined or cancelled, especially the program of preservation and rehabilitation of architecture and urban environment. In addition, many of the interviews have shown and expressed how the knowledge and the lack of knowledge and the overlapping between the authorities could be one of the main challenges that faces the cultural heritage today. Nevertheless.
Dr. Ula, if you hear me,
yes.
You have only 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, I am reaching my final stages slide. That's fine.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, it's important to emphasize that many of the interviews have considered the Marshes file would be the most comprehensive example of current period that succeeded to rehabilitate its community after years of displacement. So what is next and how we can assess our work so far? The multidisciplinary interview, including specialists from politics, social science, human rights, heritage, archaeology, and architecture, in addition to discuss the guide and argue the outcome from this participatory workshop that was planned, give us a wide vision to understand what is really happening on the ground and what is the challenging that facing the heritage sectors. In addition to creation, we need to create a collaboration research environment that facilitated shared and sustained engagement with local heritage communities, their resident, representative, and NGOs within the regional research hubs. These methods for the research that we adopted allow the research to restructure and develop new accounts that would help to answer the research questions in addition to develop a theoretical and conceptual framework for humanitarian heritage through production and co-creation with local communities across Iraq. So raising awareness, debate around heritage, generation, and development priorities for the government, local authorities, in addition to uncover the development challenge across borders of conflict to understand the specific and the general needs for each community. So this is as my last slide. Thank you very much.